Good morning and welcome to another Tech Talk with Luxpower. I'm your host Andy, and today we're going to be looking at the new 10 kilowatt. It's called the Gen 10 or the Gen LXP, and it is somewhat different to the older machine, and we're going to be going through some of those changes. Okay, so here we have the older layout, and as you can see, the connections came through the bottom of the machine. We supplied you with these cable glands which had the rubber boot on the inside for waterproofing. Cables came inside the machine, and then you tied into the interface board here, battery terminations there, your AC connections with this side, and obviously the PV connections with this side. The LXP 10 came with these block connectors, and the 12 came with a little something slightly different. Well, the design has changed quite a bit, and let me show you that. All right, so here we have the new Gen 10, and this is what the interface panel looks like below the machine. So that is the top of the machine, and here we have the bottom of the machine. And as you can see now, we're using MC4 connectors on the left-hand side here. It's got 8 inputs, so it's basically got 2 MPPTs, and each MPPT has dual inputs. So we can basically put in 25 amps on this input here and 25 amps on that input. Then we have a very sturdy and robust battery connection point. It's clearly marked here with the screen printing, battery positive and negative. And then the buzz bar, which is nickel-plated copper, is very well separated with these dividers here, and it comes with which looks to me like an M12 bolt that will tie down your lugs to the battery. So you must remember that the LXP or the Gen 10 can discharge at a maximum current, a DC current of 208 amps. So these terminals here are suited for that type of discharge. Right next to that, here we have the USB port for connecting with the LCD, and we can do firmware updates for the LCD via the USB port. And then here is a screen print of the interface board, how the layouts are. So here we have our normally open and our generator contact port here, and then here we have the dry contacts. We have our dip switches here for setting on which particular protocol we're using. And you will notice that on this particular machine, the dip switches are separated. So we have the dips there for the grid regulation, and then underneath here, there you can see the dips for paralleling. So here we have our battery communication. That's the CT. And here we have parallel. In this particular setup here, I've got 3 machines set up, because in our lab, we're going to be doing a single machine on test, then we're going to be doing 2 machines in parallel, then 3 in parallel, and we're going to be running them in a 3-phase configuration as well. Remember that we don't send anything out into the South African market without testing it ourselves, because we in the support center need to become very familiar with how the machines are set up. Another pretty cool feature with the LXP or the Gen is, instead of having our termination ports inside the machine like you've seen before on the old 10 kilowatt, we now have these handy plugs or sockets. So each connection point, so you have your EPS output, you have your grid input, and you have your Gen input, which is also the smart load port. They come with their unique sockets, so these sockets are not interchangeable. This one will not fit on there, and vice versa, and neither will the Gen one. And obviously these are color coded as well for ease of use. And then below that, you will see that it has got 3 robust fans. Now the fans are blowing air through this section of the machine, and inside this part of the machine, we have a massive heat sink, and that's particularly where the cooling takes place. The old LXP stands 270 off the wall, and this particular one, as you can see here, it's 295, so it's about 2.5 centimeters higher. This particular height here is 2.5 centimeters higher or further away from the wall as what the old LXP 10 is. On the side here, we have the docking port for the dongle. Remember, with the old machine, the docking port was below, but now we've moved the docking port to the side here, and obviously there's a cable running from here down to the interface board. And then here we have our DC isolator with a lockout for our PV. So the PV will come into here. All of them will go up to to the isolator, and then from there it goes to the MPPT board. It's got these handy, robust stainless steel fold-away handles for lifting the machine onto the wall. And then another noticeable difference between this one and the old LXP is same black main body, but we've changed the coloring, and I think we're going to be standardizing on the coloring for the LXP range, where we'll be going for the silver front. So as you can see here, the old machine was a white one, and the new one is in the Lux Silver with the logo embossed in the top right hand corner. The screen is still a touch screen, which you guys are very familiar with. So these screens are pretty handy, and it gives you a very similar layout to the user interface on the web portal. Right, so it's a very cool touchscreen, and it allows you to do monitoring your data for solar, battery, grid, UPS, and other. It has your notifications, and then obviously your settings as well. And another cool feature that we have on here as well, we can also do some debugging where it has some frequently asked questions, and it's even available on the older machines, where you can simply click on that and it'll give you a possible answer or possible solution to what you're looking for.